Hi friends, today we will see what is plastering. Now, the plastering is the process of covering the walls, columns and ceilings with coats of plaster for its protection or decoration. What are the purposes of plastering? It gives a smooth finish to the surface of the wall, etc. It gives a decorative effect. It protects the wall from insects and rats, and it protects the masonry from rainwater and other atmospheric action. Now, what are the surface preparations we have to give to receive the plaster? All the masonry joints are raked to a depth of 10 to 15 mm, and the dust on the surface is removed with wire brushes. The surface is then washed with water and kept wet. And how many number of coats of plaster we have to give, and what are its thicknesses? The single coat of plaster is used for low cost construction only, but normally we give for brickwork and stone masonry 2 to 3 coats of plaster. The first coat is known as the undercoat, having a thickness of 10 to 15 mm, and the second coat is a floating coat which has got a thickness of 6 to 9 mm, and the third coat is known as a finishing coat, having a thickness of 2 to 3 mm. Now, what are the different types of plastering? Based on the binding material, we can classify the plastering as the mud plastering, clay plastering, lime plastering, cement plastering, gypsum plastering and lime cement plaster. And this is a picture of a cement plastering, and which is very common nowadays. This is gypsum plastering, and this is clay plastering, which is used where abundant quantity of clay is available and it gives a different effect. And mud plastering is used for low cost construction, and this is not very common nowadays. And lime plastering also is not common nowadays, and here the lime is used for plastering. And now we can see what are the different tools used for plastering. The tools used for plastering are the gauging trowel, the float, the floating rule and the plumb bob. The gauging trowel. A gauging trowel is used for gauging the materials and for applying the mortar. And now here we can see the picture of a float. What is a float? Float is used for applying and spreading the mortar on the surface and giving a smooth finish. There are two types of float based on the material from which it is made. That is, one, it can be a metal float and it can be a wooden float. Now you might have seen the plumb bob. Why this plumb bob is used? This is used for checking the verticality of the walls and the plastered surface. Now we can see the different defects in plastering. The defects in plastering can be unevenness, efflorescence, blistering, cracking, flaking, peeling, etc. Now this unevenness is the surface not being very even after plastering. Now efflorescence means this building materials and the water which is used for making the plaster may have some salt inside it, and on drying this salt may come out and form some patches of salt on the surface. This is known as efflorescence. So it is the white crystalline substance appearing on the surface due to the presence of salt in the plaster ingredients after drying. This results in bad appearance. It affects the addition of paint on the wall, and it can be removed to some extent by dry brushing and washing. Now next we will see what is blistering. You can see what is blistering from the figure, and it is very evident from the figure what is blistering. It is the formation of small patches of plaster swelling after the plastered surface. Now after this drying up, you can see some portion going out, and you can see some holes in the plaster. So this is blistering, and it is very dangerous for a plastered surface. Now next is cracking. Now it from the figure it is very evident what is cracking, and it consists of formation of cracks in the plaster. What are the different reasons of plastering? Cracking in the plaster. It is a result of imperfect preparation of the wall, or structural defect in the wall, or discontinuity of the wall surfaces, Movement of plaster surface due to the expansion or shrinkage, excessive shrinkage due to application of a thick coat of plaster, or it can be due to the faulty workmanship. Now next is flaking. It is a formation of very loose mass of plastered surface due to the poor bond between the successive coat. So due to flaking, these loose mass may come out. Next is peeling. It is a complete dislocation of some portion of the plastered surface resulting in the formation of patches. This also results from imperfect bonding. Now, different reasons for defects in plastering are the poor workmanship, walls not plastered well, too much thick plastering, poor curing, and use of defective materials. So, today we have seen what is plastering and what are the different types of plastering and what are the defects in plastering, etc. And thank you very much for listening carefully.